Hey, the federal government just funded a pro-Second Amendment curriculum for America's schools. This is huge. Let me tell you what it means. Patriots, buckle up because something huge just happened in the fight for the Second Amendment, and you're not going to hear this on the mainstream media, if at all. For the first time in American history, a public university, the University of Wyoming, just received a $1 million federal grant to build a Second Amendment curriculum for America's schools. Yeah, you heard that right. An actual civics-based scholastic program dedicated to teaching young Americans the truth about the right to keep and bear arms. No spin, no anti-gun propaganda, just history, constitutional law, and the facts our founders intended every citizen to understand. Now let's get into what this means, because if done right, this could be one of the most important Second Amendment victories of the decade. Welcome back to the channel, guys and gals. My name is Jared. This is Guns and Gadgets, your home for hard-hitting Second Amendment news that the mainstream media refuses to cover. If you're new here, subscribe so that you don't miss the updates that actually matter. All right, let's talk about this $1 million development that could reshape how the next generation, and several after that, view the Constitution. The U.S. Department of Education, what's left of it, just awarded the University of Wyoming a 2-year, roughly $1 million grant for a program called Armed with Knowledge, a nonpartisan Second Amendment initiative. And that title alone should make every patriot's eyebrow go up, because we're not used to seeing the federal government fund something with Second Amendment in the name unless they're studying how to restrict it. But this program is different. This grant authorizes UW, University of Wyoming, to create a comprehensive Second Amendment curriculum specifically designed for secondary schools, middle schools and high schools, civics classes, and history classes. Basically, the educational battleground where the mind of the American teenager is shaped. And the federal government is paying for it. Well, we are via our taxes, but what a change. According to the University of Wyoming and the reporting coming out yesterday, this curriculum will cover the founding era and the debates around the right to keep and bear arms, landmark Supreme Court cases like Heller, McDonald, and Bruin, the militia and individual right interpretations throughout history, the evolution of firearms in American society, and how the Second Amendment fits into a broader civil rights and self-defense law. So this is great. Instead of the usual fear-mongering, guns bad, government good, this program is designed to teach students what the founders actually intended, using real scholarship and real constitutional context. And you know what that means? Once the students learn the truth, they stop falling for that propaganda. Now, we will continue to dive into this, but first, a word from our sponsor. The Fed is pivoting to printing money and cutting rates. First come rate cuts, then comes good old-fashioned money printing. The job market is collapsing. Americans searching for help with mortgage on Google is at levels not seen since 2008. Hedge fund billionaire Paul Tudor Jones says 2025 and 2026 is potentially more explosive than 1999. The risk of the party ending is much sooner, and it will be more violent than most expect. All of this while our national debt has surpassed $38 trillion, with $39 trillion just a mere months away. Jamie Dimon said gold could easily go to $5,000 or $10,000 an ounce. JP Morgan says that the metal could double in value. ETF gold holdings haven't neared peaks hit in the past, and rallies extend much longer now. Goldman Sachs maintained their $4,900 target for 2026. Bank of America's forecast was $6,000, and Frank Holmes said that gold could hit $7,000 by the end of Trump's term. The Wall Street Journal said silver could be the trade of the decade. Gold surpassed its inflation-adjusted high, and silver always follows gold. Silver's inflation-adjusted all-time high is $209 an ounce. Call the proud Americans of the Patriot Gold Group today before it's too late. Mention Guns and Gadgets and you'll always get the best-in-class service from Patriots protecting patriots. Now, Patriot Gold Group has the no fee for life IRA when your IRA or your 401k can be in physical gold and silver, and you may be eligible for the no fee for life IRA on qualifying rollovers. Call 888-581-4989 for a free investor guide today. Patriot Gold Group has been a Consumer Affairs top-rated gold IRA dealer 9 years in a row. Again, call 888-581-4989 or hit this QR code or the link in the description below. Thanks to Patriot Gold for sponsoring this video. Now, why do I think this is so huge? Because the biggest threat to anti-gun politicians isn't guns. It's an educated population that understands what the Constitution actually says. A lot of people are asking why the University of Wyoming? Well, the answer is simple. They already had a team working on Second Amendment scholarship and education. The Biden administration obviously wouldn't have funded something like this, but this new Department of Education leadership under the Trump administration is clearly signaling a shift toward restoring traditional constitutional civics. If you remember, for years, for decades, schools removed the Second Amendment from any meaningful discussions. Kids get a paragraph on the Bill of Rights, maybe, often watered down, and in some school districts, it's avoided entirely. And yet, some of those same schools will spend a week teaching students how to apply for government benefits. So this initiative is a major pivot. A return to teaching citizenship, a return to teaching constitutional rights, a return to teaching individual liberty, not state dependence. And that is exactly why this matters. Now let's talk reaction, because predictably, the professional pearl clutchers, the anti-gunners, they're already sounding the alarm. Anti-gun groups are furious. Some activists are already saying that guns don't belong in the classrooms. Others claim this program will radicalize youth. We heard the exact same scuttlebutt here in Tennessee last year after we became the first state to mandate firearms education in all schools at all grade levels, plus there's no parental opt-out. And what they're really afraid of is this. If young Americans learn the truth, they won't grow up to support gun control. They're terrified that students will discover that the Second Amendment was written to limit government, not citizens. That the founders believed an armed people were essential to liberty. That self-defense is a natural right that predates the Constitution. That the Supreme Court has repeatedly confirmed the Second Amendment protects the individual citizen, not the government. Knowledge is dangerous to the tyrants. And that's why this curriculum is so important. This is where things get really interesting. A successful national level curriculum could lead to a few things. Number one, more states adopting Pro-2A civics education. Imagine 30 or 40 states teaching accurate Second Amendment history in middle school and high school. That's a cultural foundation anti-gunners cannot undo. Number two, more federal support for constitutional rights education. If this becomes a model for civics programs, other universities and school districts might request similar grants. Number three, a long-term shift in how the next generation views the Second Amendment. This isn't about passing a law today. This is about preserving liberty for the next 20 to 40 to 60 to longer years from now. Number four, a direct counter to anti-gun indoctrination. Let's call it for what it is, guys and gals. You know, I pull no punches here. For decades, kids have been taught fear, emotion, and misinformation about firearms. Hell, all of the Bill of Rights. This is a rare opportunity to correct that. The university says that the program will be nonpartisan, but here's the truth. If you teach accurate history, if you teach constitutional text, if you teach Supreme Court precedent, if you teach the founders' writings, you end up with a pro-liberty, pro-Second Amendment message by default. because the facts are on our side. Every tyrant in history disarmed the people. Every free society trusted its citizens with arms. Every major constitutional scholar admits the Second Amendment protects the individual. And every attempt to reinterpret it is an attempt to weaken it. So, the more our kids learn the truth, the safer liberty becomes. Look, this might not sound as explosive as a new court ruling or a major lawsuit, but from a cultural and educational perspective, this might be one of the most significant Second Amendment developments of the decade. Because the truth is simple. You can win elections with money. You can pass laws with power. You can only preserve liberty with education. If this curriculum really teaches the Second Amendment the way that the founders intended, then $1 million might be the best investment this government has made in decades. George Mason, the father of the Bill of Rights, once said, quote, "To disarm the people is the best and most effectual way to enslave them," end quote. That warning was a direct indictment of any government effort to disarm its citizens. Patrick Henry said, quote, "The great object is that every man be armed," end quote. Samuel Adams said, quote, Samuel Adams said, quote, "The said Constitution be never construed to authorize Congress to infringe the just liberty of the press, or the rights of conscience, or to prevent the people of the United States, who are peaceable citizens, from keeping their own arms." James Madison, the father of the Constitution, said, quote, "Americans have the right and advantage of being armed, unlike the citizens of other countries whose governments are afraid to trust the people with arms." Patriots, I want to know what you think. Is this the start of a long overdue return to real civics? Will this help combat the wave of anti-gun messaging that's targeting young Americans? Or do you think this curriculum will get watered down before it ever hits the classroom? Sound off in the comments. This discussion is going to be fire on this one. And if you appreciate getting real Second Amendment news that the mainstream media ignores, make sure that you subscribe, hit the like button, and share this video with at least 2 fellow patriots. You could also still save money on Blackout Coffee's Cyber Week sale. We extended it because we got hammered and some people shut down the website because so many people came. So we've extended it. Buy 2, get 1 free on coffees, teas, and hot cocos. So head on over. It's automatically applied. Just put 3 things in the cart. It does it automatic. Stay tuned. I have a feeling that this story is just beginning. Until next time, be safe, stay vigilant, stay armed, stay free, and always be ready to defend your rights. This is Guns and Gadgets, the premier source for Second Amendment news. Have a great day. I'll see you on the next one. God bless you. God bless America. Take care.